What's good? What's good? It's the one, the only, but what do I know? Boxing coming back at y'all with my review for Creed 3. Now listen, I'm not good at doing movie reviews, so it's, excuse me if I don't say the correct terms or whatever. But I definitely wanted to give my opinion on Creed 3, man. I'm a huge Michael B. Jordan fan. Michael B. Jordan is definitely my favorite actor. I was a big fan. Fruitvale Station. Come on, man. I even remember him when he played in Hardball. A lot of people don't even remember dude in Hardball, but I remember when he played in Hardball. Of course, my favorite villain is Killmonger. Although I don't think he's a real villain, but that's for a different video, man. So of course I fell in love with the Creed franchise, man. I really thought that was a great spinoff, and I remember I had that same feeling going into Creed 3 that I had going into Creed 2. So Creed 1 came out 2015. Creed 2 came out November 2018. And I remember thinking like, dang, 3 years. When Creed 2 came out, I was like 3 years. And dang, I'm finally finna watch it. And I remember feeling sad when it was over. Like, dang, man. Dang, this is it, man. And then, I had that same feeling with Creed 3, right? All right, so I want to talk. I'm gonna give you the good, what I thought was good, what I thought was bad, and then my overall opinion on the movie. All right, so bear with me again. This is just my first time actually reviewing the movie, and also remember that, I wanted to take clips and stuff how I normally do, like show you the clips, but I can't do that obviously because of copyright reasons. So we gotta just hear what I say. All right. So one of the first things that I like the storyline. I like how it was all about Adonis. Creed 1 was about Apollo Creed and Rocky, basically it was about Adonis, but it still had everything to do with his father's legacy and more so of him beginning, dealing with Rocky. Creed 2 was more about Apollo and the history between Apollo and Drago, and then Rocky as well, because Rocky felt guilty about that. So the Creed 1 and Creed 2 was absolutely about the history of Creed and Rocky. It just so happened to trickle down that he had a son, so he was inheriting that history between Creed and Rocky or whatnot. Creed 3 could have been its own movie. Creed 3, and oh, by the way, man, this is definitely a spoiler alert. So if you have not seen the movie, do not watch this video, all right? Unless if you don't mind the spoiler alerts. But anyways, Creed 3 could have definitely been its own movie. It could have been its own movie because it separates itself from the other Creeds because it's solely about Adonis Creed. It has nothing to do with Rocky. It has nothing to do with Apollo Creed. It has everything to do with Adonis Creed, okay? And I really, really appreciated that, man. Another thing that I like was just having boxers in a boxing movie. I always think that's dope, man. They had Jose Benavidez. He plays Felix Chavez. They had Tony Bellew come back to return to, Pretty Ricky Conley. Obviously, he was in the first Creed. He did that 7-year sentence, and ironically, he had to do a 7-year sentence, and ironically, that 8 years later, he comes out. That's cool. I did like, who else was in? I liked Terrence Crawford was in there. Canelo made an appearance. It was good to see. It's always good to see real boxers. They work with real boxers. I think that's taking it to the next level, and I think that's very, very dope. Okay, so I enjoy seeing that. All right. Another thing, and this is not in any particular order, but another thing I really liked was they showing the promoter side. Adonis Creed, retired from boxing and he became a promoter, and I thought that was very, very cool for them to show the business side of boxing and how a lot of fights manifest or whatnot because of the business side. I remember when in the scene where obviously Victor Drago they brought back Victor Drago, and Adonis Creed, he gets injured, and then Adonis Creed was like, what, I got something, this would be huge if it just showed the promoter side, it showed the business side of boxing. You saw Adonis on the phone saying, no, Felix doesn't want to take this percent, he wants more money, so you guys have to add more money, or it just showed the business side, and I always appreciate that. All right, Another thing, let's see. I like one thing I definitely need to touch on. I like how they made. I like how they worked on and I don't know how they did this, but shout out to Corey, who is actually Michael B. Jordan's his strength and condition trainer, or his workout trainer, or whatever, because I like how they had Michael B. Jordan. Now obviously he's toned up and everything like that, but in this movie he wasn't as toned, because and that was solely because he was a retired fighter, and I loved how they made that very realistic. Like he was if you look at Jonathan Majors, like pause, but just look how ripped up and how chiseled he is, and then you look at Michael B. Jordan. He had the muscles. He was decently ripped up, but he wasn't as ripped up, and I like how they did that, because he's a retired fighter, so it's not like he's gonna be training or anything like he once was or whatever. So I definitely did like that. I liked Jonathan Majors' part. Jonathan Majors is an amazing actor. I really appreciated him in this movie. He played. Of course, he killed his part. I loved it. The fighting scenes were in depth. I really loved how they did that with the cameras, and even I appreciate. I thought I was gonna be a little irritated on some of the things that because as a boxing fan, you'll see some stuff, you'll be like, why the hell did, like, I know in Creed 1 and Creed 2 it was a few times that they would throw like combinations that I'll be like, why the hell did he do that, but in this, it wasn't as bad. It was good for what it was. Jonathan Majors had this kind of Joe Frazier cross defense coming in, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Okay, so the fighting scenes was dope, and I must say the last fighting scene with him and Jonathan Majors was probably the best fighting scene that I've seen in the Creed franchise, bro. Like I really appreciated how Michael B had more technique. It wasn't just like it was a brawl, but they had some slickness with it. I really appreciated that, bro. Bringing back Victor Drago, that was dope. Bringing back Victor Drago's character, that was dope. And then Adonis Creed using him to help him get prepared for his fight with Dame, which was played by Jonathan Majors, and it was a minor plot twist, man. It was stuff that was leading up to Jonathan Majors kind of trading on Adonis Creed, or should I say Damian Anderson trade. It was things that he was leaving little crumbs of reasons why, how okay, he was dropping little hints and stuff, and just like it was a minor little plot twist, like when Victor Drago, when they're at the movie, not the movie, I'm sorry, when they're at the album, it was at some listening party or whatever, because now Bianca, who was played by Tessa Thompson, she's more so, she says she doesn't really do shows as much, she's more now producing. And so one of her artists was singing, and Dame walks up to her and was like, it ever bother you that somebody else is singing your song? Or he said something like that, bear with me. He said something like, it don't bother you that somebody else is singing your song, which was a hint to basically saying, like, it was a metaphor of, metaphorically speaking, about, basically Adonis Creed, being the fighter that he was supposed to be. Because if, as a child, he was the star. He was supposed to be on the rise, not Adonis Creed or whatnot. But he did what he did for Adonis or whatever. I definitely. So I mean, like I said, it was like those are the things that I like, and it's not in any particular order. I'm gonna definitely go back and watch the movie again, but I definitely want to talk about the things that I didn't like. Okay, now, one of the things, now this has everything to do with like being a realistic boxing fan. if you're going into watching Creed and you're a boxing fan, for it's a lot of things, like if you're a hardcore boxing fan, not a casual, it's a lot of things that you're gonna be like, what the hell, bro? One of the first things was, like them picking Jose Benavidez Jr., who plays the character of Felix Chavez, to fight, as a heavyweight. And it's like, damn, in your mind, I'm kind of thinking like, damn, y'all couldn't actually find a heavyweight. That would have made more sense. But I mean, and don't get me wrong, Jose Benavidez is my guy. I'm proud of him. It tripped me out that he was, fighting for the heavyweight title. I was just like, damn, they were actually gonna have him fight Victor Drago, like, and it was just like, well, that's a big gap. Jose Benavidez Jr. really fights at junior middleweight, super welterweight. But I definitely looked at that and it was just like, okay. Another thing, it seemed to be rushed at moments, man. It was a lot of scenes, bro, where I don't know, the movie seemed to be like, it kind of seemed like to push certain scenes. And I don't know, these are one of the terms that I was telling you, I don't really know the correct term. But if anybody is like a hardcore movie watcher that dissects movies or whatnot, you know what I mean. But it seemed like a lot of it was rushed. It was just like, I was expecting them to I guess go into more details about certain things. But it would be like, you'll see Adonis Creed, he's working with a fighter, and next thing, okay, oh, Damien's coming. Okay, Damien's out. Oh, Damien's by his car, like, already. Damn, I thought it would have just been more of a, he gets out, he's on the bus, then next thing you know, he's on his bus. I don't know, I was expecting him to go more in depth with Damien's character. And that brings me to my next. I would have loved to see, I think that Jonathan Majors did a great job, as always. Great actor. I would have loved to see. I would have loved to see Damien's character more, though. I feel like they didn't maximize Jonathan Majors' potential in the movie. Although he did a great job at what he did, they didn't maximize his potential. Like I feel like he had, like, it was almost like he just like he had spots when he just, it's hard to explain. It's really hard to explain. So forgive me for not being able to explain or use the correct terms, but it didn't maximize his potential. I more so felt like as though Jonathan made, like, it just kind of, he killed his parts, but he didn't have enough. They didn't. I just wish they would have went in more in depth in certain situations. It seemed like they kind of just gave it to us, like, but they didn't go. I wish they would have gotten more in depth with Damien's character. I feel like he should have had a more of a bigger. He should have had more time on camera. If that makes sense. I didn't also, and this is me being a boxing fan, I didn't, realistically speaking, it didn't make any sense that Damien was fighting for a world title in his first fight. Like that part, I was just like, okay, because what I was thinking, and when it first came out, I was like, I remember having this conversation with my bro, and I remember it was like, bro, it's gonna have to be some type of time lapse going on, like 5 years later or 3 years later, you know what I'm saying, or something like that. It's gonna have to have some type of time, because it just didn't make sense, like how dude would be fighting Adonis Creed. Like, I never understood, like, how is dude fighting Adonis Creed and he's just getting out and he's just trying to, like, and so, next thing you know, like, obviously Felix Chavez, who's played by Jose Benavidez Jr., he was supposed to fight Victor Drago, as you guys know, and the little minor plot twist was Damien's character set up one of his homeboys in prison. He came and, like, got into it with Victor Drago, and, like, the dude hit his hand and broke his hand and fractured his hand or something like that, and Victor Drago had to pull out. And so Felix Chavez needed an opponent. And Adonis Creed actually brought up Leo, what's his name, Sparino. If you guys don't remember, that was the first guy that Adonis fought and Creed won, played by Gabe Rosado. And then he brought up somebody else, and it was a reason why they couldn't fight. But then he thought about Jonathan Majors, who Jonathan Majors, my bad, Damian Anderson, who already had it out for Felix Chavez. You know, they didn't like each other, the sparring sessions and everything like that. They didn't like each other, so they already had it out for each other. So, he brought him up and they took the fight. Now, in realistic boxing, and just being realistic in boxing, it's like, bro, what the hell? Like, you had Lomachenko, who did fight for a world title after having his first fight, and he lost against Orlando Salido or whatnot. But it's like, realistically speaking, like, this dude, like, what, bro? Fighting for his a world title in his first fight? That's crazy. All right, but regardless, I mean, I didn't really like that. Another thing, it was missing that excitement, that build up that Creed 1 and Creed 2 had, because it was going such a dark turn. I mean, it's dark moments in the movie, and it was going such a dark turn. It was missing that excitement, that build up, and I don't know how they could have made that, but it was missing that build up. The build up for the fight with Adonis and Damian could have been a lot better. I just expected more of a build-up. The way Adonis fought Pretty Ricky Conley or Adonis fought Victor Drago, that was a build-up. It wasn't really a build-up for Adonis to fight Damian. It was kind of just rushed. I didn't like how it seemed like it was rushed, you know. Definitely sad parts. Obviously, you know, like, again, this is a spoiler alert, but you know, Creed's mom, Marianne, who's played by Felicia Rashad, she ends up dying. That was a very sad scene. She actually, before she passed, you know, she had this moment where she was talking to Apollo Creed and saying, "Apollo, why did you leave me?" And I found him. His name is Adonis, and that was very sad, man. That was a heart touching moment. Like, I mean, literally, like, it was so many people in the movie theater that was crying at that moment, bro. Like, the movies was packed. It was a lot of people, so I'm pretty sure they're gonna make their money's worth, because it was a lot of people in there. I go to the movies quite often, and never has it just been packed like it was tonight with Creed 3. So shout out to them. A lot of people were looking forward to watching this movie. All right, but definitely, like, what's up with moms dying, bro? Like, damn, we just had T'Challa's mom dying in Wakanda 2, and now Adonis Creed mom dies in Creed 3. That just it's just sad. But anyways, the last thing, bro, the scenes, it was a lot of scenes in the trailers that was not in the movies. Like, you know, the scene where Felix Chavez or Jose Benavidez Jr., like, before they spar, he looking at his was like, oh, that's cute. And the scene where, like, they're in the juvenile facility, they're Creed, or they're walking in the like, it was just, or the scene where the daughter was crying and you see Bianca or Tessa Thompson, you know, touch her chest, and it was just a lot of scenes that was in the trailer that was not in the movie. So I was actually, like, shocked by that. All right. Now, overall, if I have to rate this movie from out of a 1 through 10, I'm gonna give this movie a solid 7. Just based off of the fact that Michael B. Jordan did a very good job directing the movie, and the movie was overall a very good movie. It was a good movie. It was definitely solid, but it was just a lot of things that was missing. I feel like it was rushed. I feel like, man, I just wish they would have got more in depth with Jonathan Majors' character. Although he killed it once again, like, everybody played their part well. Everybody killed their role. It was definitely great acting all around. I love how, so obviously Adonis' daughter Amara has she's deaf, so they had to do the sign language with her. And that was I loved it. It was a very good movie. It really could have been its own movie, because that's how much it separates itself from Creed 1 and Creed 2. But I just feel like, man, they really, I wish they would have gone more in depth with each role, with each character, and especially Damian's character. I wish they would have went in depth. I kind of just feel like they rushed it. It just wasn't. The movie was at a solid, like, it was just at a solid momentum. Like, it didn't give you that explosive, that excitement that Creed 1 and Creed 2 did, bro. But obviously, you know, that's just my opinion, man. I urge, if you haven't watched it, I'm sorry for spoiling it, but I told you it was a spoiler alert. But I was still watching it. You know, it's still worth it. I felt like, you know, even though I waited 4.5 years for this, I felt like I got my money's worth. I didn't feel like I wasted my time, all right? So I definitely urge everybody to go see it, man. Let me know what you guys think if you go catch it. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a comment. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all right? But what do I know?